Welcome, viewers. I hereby tell that you most likely believe that the Star Wars prequels suck. Well, I am afraid that it is you who are mistaken about a great many things. Good. I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger. Now, click that dislike button with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete. No, guys, I'm not going to do the Emperor Palpatine impression throughout the entire video. So, Ace here, and today I'm going to be talking about why I like the Star Wars prequels. Now, I'm not saying that I like the Star Wars prequels better than the originals, it's just I like them about the same. They both have their pros and cons. I prefer the space battles and the starships in the original trilogy, but I prefer the lightsaber duels in the prequels. And since a few people have already done some videos defending the Star Wars prequels before, I'm going to try to cover things that maybe, some things that maybe they didn't. Anyway, first of all, the planets and the general effects. A lot of people seem to complain, ooh, nobody could survive on Mustafar, it's all made of lava, they'd burn to a crisp, or, you know, ooh, there couldn't be a planet made entirely of city, it'd be too full of pollution, well, or, ooh, this sort of spaceship or craft wouldn't work, it's defying physics. Well, has Star Wars ever really been about that? I don't think so, because if you look at the original trilogy, they have lots of things that wouldn't make sense on a scientific standpoint too, like a planet entirely made of desert, like Tatooine, or a planet entirely made of snow, like Hoth, or don't even get me started on Bespin, you know, like, basically, if you want, like, Star Wars is, as George Lucas has said himself, is not science fiction, it's science fiction fantasy. So if you want, you know, to complain about, if you want a science fiction that's, that you can point out all the little scientific flaws in, you can watch Star Trek, which I like too. And also, it wouldn't be a proper discussion of the Star Wars prequels without at least bringing up the topic of the racism in the movies, which I don't think there is, because, you know, if you really think about it, Jar Jar and Watto and the Nemoidians, they're aliens. They're supposed to talk weird and act weird, you know. And like, as far as Jar Jar goes, I never really hated Jar Jar. He's just, you know, someone I wouldn't really want in my house. You know, he tends to touch things a lot and break things, which I've known a few people like that, and yeah, it's it can be annoying, but you know, I don't hate the guy as a character, and he did in fact to me have a few funny scenes that I laughed at. And Watto, well, maybe this is just because I read some of the Expanded Universe novels, but he's not really all that evil, he's just, you know, misguided, because in one of the Expanded Universe novels, he, when the backstory behind behind selling Shmi to Lars, well, they had some chemistry going there, and he turned out to be actually a really nice guy, but anyway, I digress. Of course, as I mentioned, the lightsaber duels are a lot cooler in the prequels. I mean, also, the whole thing about Hayden Christensen being a crybaby, well, he's a teenager, and, like, he watched his freaking mother die in his arms, literally, and, like, that would mess anyone up, wouldn't it? I mean, he was just showing the human side, the human character to him, you know? He's just... And if you think about it, he didn't cry all that much. It was really just that one scene where it made sense, where he's lamenting to Padme about how he slaughtered the Sand People, and, you know, that's a scene you're supposed to cry in, you know? Now, I'll admit there are a few dumb lines and scenes in the Star Wars prequels, like, for example, only a Sith deals in absolute, you know, and how Padme, you know, lost the will to live when she'd just given birth. You know, aren't your kids now your reason to live? But, you know, I can look past those because, you know, the movies are still a lot of fun. I mean, like, Anakin and Obi-Wan were lightsaber dueling over a river of lava. There was a lava waterfall, a lava fall. I mean, how can that not be awesome? I mean, how, like... I mean, I remember walking out of the Phantom Menace as a kid, you know, saying the plot was a little weak, but the movie was still a lot of fun. I still enjoyed it, and the same goes for the next two movies. You know, I really, there's still enough fun parts of the movies to make up for any flaws that they may have, in my opinion. So, you know, the amount of hate that there is for the Star Wars prequels on the internet could, like, if it was turned into pure energy, it could power a Death Star. I'm serious, like, it's just, like, millions and millions of people just, you know, with this seething loathing for the prequels, and I just don't get that. I mean, I don't really think they're that bad, you know, like... Pretty much any point that that someone can make about it saying they're bad, I can you know, counter with an argument about the original trilogy, or just it's not that bad, you know. You know, maybe this is just me, but I personally always had a, you know, sort of a soft spot for George Lucas, you know, because if I were directing those movies, I probably would have done it the same way he did, you know, like, people complain, you know, the common complaint about his directing of the prequels is that he's not very good with dealing with the actors, with people, and he's better at just, you know, writing, which is, you know, I would be the same way, you know, and, like, I've often said that George Lucas most likely has Asperger's syndrome, you know, like, and you can't really blame him for that. I mean, he's still a brilliant story creator and writer. It's just, you know, maybe he should have just been, like, the executive producer and the writer, the screenwriter for the prequels instead of the director, and maybe it might have, people might have looked at them better, but, you know, it's just, you know, he did the best he could. He's only human, you know, like... And another thing, Jake Lloyd from episode 1, you know, the kid who played Anakin, you know, you gotta cut that guy some slack. I mean, first of all, he was just like 8, 9 years old when he played that role, and now he's like afraid of cameras, and he tries to avoid being seen in public, and he's like, leave the guy alone, you know, he's suffered enough. You know, he was probably like bullied in school like crazy because of that, and just leave the guy alone, seriously, you know, like, leave all these actors and George Lucas alone. They just, they don't deserve the hatred that they're getting, you know, they really don't. It's just, anyway, not sure what else to discuss that hasn't already been discussed by other people, like the Nostalgia Critic in his video. So, if you have any opinions of your own, anything you'd like to add, anything you disagree with, comment below, and if you like the video, like. If you don't, you can dislike. It doesn't bother me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.